afternoon and welcome to the Chalmette Battlefield and National Cemetery. This is part of the larger Jean Lafitte National Historical Park and Preserve. I'm standing on the site of the January 8th, 1815 Battle of New Orleans, where General Andrew Jackson destroyed the British forces that were threatening the port city of New Orleans, which is just right up the river from where we are right now. There are several key sites around the field that I wish to share with you today. The first of which you can see right behind me is the Visitor Center. This particular building was opened in January of 2011, and it replaced the previous building that was destroyed back in 2005 due to Hurricane Katrina. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19 precautions, the building is closed to visitors, so I'm unable to take you inside and show you the artifacts that are on display and the timelines of the war and the battle that took place here. We're now standing on battery number 4 of the American defensive positions. This dirt berm and the ditch on the other side are merely recreations of how the site would have appeared in 1815. The interest in keeping the area preserved did not really pick up steam until the 1840s and 50s, and quite obviously the Civil War had hindered those efforts to continue the preservation. The monument that had begun construction in honor of Andrew Jackson and his victory here remained unfinished and would remain so for nearly another 50 years. The obelisk that you can see behind me was eventually finished in 1908, and at the time remained really the only indication that this was the site of the famous Battle of New Orleans. Now, in the 1950s, ongoing negotiations to purchase more of the land became a major issue when St. Bernard's Sewage District number 1 had decided, they had announced intentions that they were going to build a treatment plant on part of the property here. It was through the efforts of many concerned citizens and their organizations that they were able to keep this from happening, and the site remained free of industrial development. I'm standing now in front of what is called the Malice Beauregard home. This home was not originally here during the Battle of New Orleans. However, since it was built on the site at a later time, it wound up becoming part of the Chalmette Battlefield National Park. The home was originally constructed in 1833, and over the next few decades it changed hands from one owner to another, and they each made different changes and modifications to the home. Eventually, in 1880, the son of famed Confederate General P.T. Beauregard purchased the home, and he held it until 1904. He was the last private owner of the home, for when he sold it, it went to a company that became the Southern Railway Company. Now, it was at this time that the condition of the home began to deteriorate. The company did not spend much time or effort into maintaining and upkeep on the house, and so it fell into quite a state of disrepair. And it remained that way up until around 1950, when the National Park Service acquired the home from the state of Louisiana. We're now standing in the Chalmette National Cemetery, which is located across the battlefield from the Welcome Center we were just at. Now, this site was originally established in May of 1864 to house Union soldiers that had died in Louisiana during the Civil War. It is now the final resting place of nearly 16,000 veterans from the Spanish-American War, the First and Second World Wars, and Vietnam. There are actually 4 veterans of the War of 1812 located here. Only one of those, however, was present at the Battle of New Orleans. There have been many changes to the location, to the cemetery, over the years. Buildings have been constructed or demolished based on the needs of the cemetery. At one time or another, there were restroom facilities out here. There was a standalone kitchen. There were stables, carriage houses. There was a gazebo that they used to do ceremonies for the burials. And then, of course, there was a home here for the undertaker or the caretaker of the cemetery. Now, back in March of 2018, a massive restoration project was launched to document, realign, and then clean over 7,000 of these headstones, and it took 355 volunteers, nearly 1,500 man hours to complete that very important and worthwhile task.